feel the pain of the racism I encountered, I would start screaming and I would never, ever stop. So I did what most of us do. I tried to make the best of it. I worked 50% harder than my white coworkers. I stayed late every day. I dressed like every day was a job interview. I was overpolite to white people I encountered in public. I bent over backwards to prove that I was not angry, that I was not a threat. I laughed off racist jokes as if I didn't feel the sting. I told myself that it would all be worth it one day, that being a successful black woman was revolution enough. But as I got older, as the successes I had reached for slowly became a reality, something inside me began to shift. I would try to make my voice quieter in meetings, and I couldn't. I would try to laugh off the racist jokes, and I couldn't. I would try to accept my boss's reasons for why I could have my promotion, but not my raise, and I couldn't. And I started talking. I started to question. I started to resist. I started to demand. I wanted to know why it was considered a bad thing that I was opinionated. I wanted to know what exactly it was about my hair that was unprofessional. I wanted to know what exactly it was about that joke that people found funny. And once I started talking, I couldn't stop. I also started writing. I shifted my food blog into a me blog and started saying all the things that everybody around me had always said were too negative, too abrasive, and too confrontational. I started writing down my frustrations and my heartbreak. I started writing about my fears for my community and my family. I had started to see myself, and once you start to see yourself, you cannot pretend anymore. It did not go over well. My white friends, having grown up in Seattle, the majority of my friends were white, some of whom I'd known since high school, were not happy with the real me. This was not the deal they had struck. Yes, they would rage over global warming and yell about Republican shenanigans, but they would not say a word about the racial oppression and brutality facing people of color in this country. It is not my place, they'd explain, when in frustration I'd beg for some comment. I don't really feel comfortable. And as I looked around my town and saw that my neighbors were not really my neighbors, as I saw that my friends no longer considered me fun, I began to yell even louder. Somebody had to hear me. Somebody had to care. I could not be alone. Like dialysis, the old went out and in came the new. Suddenly, people I had never met were reaching out locally and from all across the country, in person and online, just to let me know that they had read my blog post, and in reading it, they felt heard. Then online publishers started reaching out to me, asking if they could republish my work. And locally, isolated and invisible people of color started reaching out, showing me that I did have neighbors after all. I was talking and writing at first for my very survival, not for anybody else's benefit. Thanks to the power and freedom of the internet, many other people of color have been able to speak their truths as well. We've been able to reach out across cities, states, even countries, to share and reaffirm that yes, what we are experiencing is true. But the internet has a very wide audience. And even though we were writing for ourselves, the power of the hurt, anger, fear, pride, and love of countless people of color could not go unnoticed by white people, especially those who were genuinely committed to fighting injustice. While some had chosen to turn away, upset that this unpleasantness had invaded their space of cat videos and baby pictures, others drew closer, realizing that they had been missing something very important all along. These last few years, the rise of voices of color, coupled with the widespread dissemination of video proof of brutality and injustice against people of color,
Para seguir escuchando este audiolibro gratuitamente, haz clic en el enlace de la descripción y podrás escucharlo completo sin coste gracias a la prueba de 30 días de Audible.